Hello, my friend. It's the Crypto Lunatic live from the Lunar Café, bringing you hidden gems before they pop and simplifying the language of crypto to newcomers to the space. And today we are going on an absolute tangent. This is a project that I doubt anyone's talking about. And based on my last search on YouTube, there's virtually nothing about it. This is an established project. It's heading down. There's no reason on paper that I should be talking about it. And yet there is something magical going on that nobody seems to be talking about. So today we're going to explore narratives that no one else is talking about. Now, it's so important in crypto. If you want to make any money, and this definitely isn't financial advice, but you have to not join the bandwagon when prices are shooting up. The game here is to catch stuff that is completely unpumped so that you get in with the early investors and not with the hype so that they sell it off. And that's the game that we're playing. And for that reason, we're going to explore this little project today, Vaulta. I'm going to show you how I found it, why I found it, and why I think that this could be a really interesting play. So join me on a little journey, my friends. So it started here. Now, this is really, really, really important. On CoinMarketCap, you can find the world's Liberty financial portfolio. Now, why is this important? This is Donald Trump's family's portfolio. Now, bearing in mind, he's the president of the United States and he has a vested interest in this fund. It's likely that any cryptos in here are going to do well. Now, hear me out. That doesn't guarantee anything, but it highly stacks the deck in the favor. If they're accumulating cryptos, there's probably a really good reason for it, including some insider information. And that is what I'm working on today. So we scroll down their portfolio and we see stuff here. We see Ethereum, no surprise to find that in. Tether, of course, and USDC stablecoins. Tron, a massive layer one. Chainlink, no surprise to find that. We see Sui, Avalanche. Now, these two, I believe, are price suppressed, and I believe these two are both good value. Because of this factor that they're in the portfolio. Aave, we've talked about, more value locked in this than any other project. Athena and Ondo, more projects that I've talked about in the past that have got a lot of money locked into them. They've got their own USD. Also, say this is another project that I've talked about a lot. Now, there's a couple of projects here that I don't know, but this is the one that we're talking about because this is sort of hidden because it looks like EOS. What is EOS? What I want to take to you is that EOS has been rebranded. EOS has been rebranded and is now Vaulta, which is why this is showing up in a shadow here on this portfolio. So let's go to Vaulta. And we see, look, if we go to all, we see a price that's just going down. Started life back in May 2025. But I think it's important we show you the life of EOS before we do this. Let's go to EOS because this was what it was before it became Vaulta and before it rebranded. So we go to all there and we see this thing here that started life back in 2007. 2007, my friends, at $2.60. And up here, it went as high as $18. Now, this is back in April 2018. Now, it didn't really do a whole lot during the last bull cycle. Look, it went to $7 there, and here it got this high, got to $10.33. And that was back in the last bull cycle in May 2021. And now it looks like it's crashed. So continuing on, the rebrand happened, and here it is. And yet it's sitting there in plain sight in the Trump portfolio. The question is, why? Why is it there? So let's look down. Let's look down. We see it's on Binance. It's not on Coinbase, which is another potential that this could be listed at some stage on Coinbase, causing a price pump. And we see a lot of the tokens are unlocked, over 77%. I'm going to show you why this is irrelevant. This is absolutely irrelevant for this project. Yes, there is coins to come into the market, but I can tell you now what this review is going to show you is that the VC's got in at considerably more than it is at the moment. So we are going to cover this, but since this is a short explanation, Vaulta is a Web3 banking network designed to power the next generation of decentralized financial services. Built on one of the most reliable layer one infrastructures in the industry, Vaulta combines real-time performance with institutional grade features to deliver secure, scalable, and composable applications from consumer payments to Bitcoin native yield and tokenized assets. Now, let's go to their website. Now, their website looks very clean. Secure your future. Vaulta empowers users, institutions, and developers to build the next generation of financial tools, secure, compliant, and permissionless. Now, isn't it interesting that World Liberty Financial have chosen this blockchain? So they clearly have some sort of partnerships with the American government, which is going to give this as an unfair leg up. And I'm just wondering why this hasn't been priced into the market. So it looks like a very clean website. It's quite impressive for a Web3 one. So it's got all sorts of stuff. You can go down there. I don't think it's anything special, but it's a clean website. We go to their social media posts. So we see 102,000 followers, which is none too shabby. We see pinned stuff here. So we're excited to announce our partnership with Blockstreet. So a nice little partnership there. That's the first official USD1 native launchpad built to power adoption and scale across chains. So they've got a partnership there. Vaulta opening the gateway to World Liberty Financial. Now look at this, folks. 774,000 followers. This is World Liberty Financial. This is the family of Donald Trump. And this is massive, absolutely massive. It doesn't get any better than that if you're an American-based company in crypto right now. So let's look at their activity here. And it's okay. So what they're highlighting here, and this is a post from 2 days ago, is the total value locked, which we're going to look at the growth for the last month. And you can see it's here. So we're going to look at this anyway, my friends, but they've got an active account and there's something going on at the moment. So it looks okay. It looks okay. Then we move on to DeFi Llama, which, as you know, if you follow my channel, I like to look at because this tells us this is a really important metric, total value locked. Total value locked. Now, this chart does not look massively impressive for the numbers because look, we go here, 24 hours, fees paid, $815. Now that is nothing. It's absolutely nothing, folks, really. So that's not an impressive metric, but this is significant. Look, it's been chugging along at total value locked, round about the 80 to 100,000 or 100 million mark for a while since 2023. Then suddenly here on November 2024, it had a little up spike. Now that was when the market pumped. Then we've had the retrace. But look, most blockchains have been hit. But I want to bring this to your attention. Look here. On the 18th of August, we were down to 184 million total value locked. And look what's happening now. In the last couple of months, we've gone up to 415 million. Now, that's not a brilliant sum, but it's all about trajectory. Look, money's been pumped into this ecosystem. Something is happening, my friends. Now, this is a prompt I'm working on with Claude. So this is very much a work in progress and not to be taken out of context. I'm still working on this, but it does give me rough metrics as to overall value and valuation. And the score rating is between 75 and 80%, which is a fairly good score. The average scores I get on this for projects are between 60 and 65%. So this is just percentages. Now, there's masses to this prompt. I'm not going to go through it. Just to give you some idea, I'll do that at the end. But I just really want to focus on the figures here because this is all really that you need. So each category we've rated. Technology and infrastructure. This is a good rating, a very good rating, strong status. The team and leadership. This is a critical rating, and that's reasonable. This is how complete the data search is, and this is the score based on the information that we have. So bear these metrics in mind. I've been putting on guardrails to my prompts so that we don't get inaccurate data, and it tells me how complete the data is. So you have to bear this in mind, especially with this. This is the lowest rating, ecosystem and adoption, which is why it gets a low rating. Gets a low rating because we can't find 30% of the information, or 30% of the information we're looking for is not available on the search rail for Claude. So again, this is an inaccurate tool, but it gives us rough percentages, which is quite high. 76% is well above average. It's good. Fundamental analysis. So the team, high score. The relevant experience, that's a pretty high score. Track record, that's reasonable. Team size and capacity, that is very good. It's above average. Communication and community, that is well above average. So it's strong and 77%. Key strengths, the known docs leadership with multi-year commitment, assembled credible banking advisory council, and public communication and transparency. So here's more tables and more percentages. The technical architecture, 85%, innovation, differentiation. Well, you can look for yourself. The overall total score for the fundamental analysis is 80.5, which is very, very good. So we go down, we've got more metrics here. Opportunity score. Now this gives it 72%. Now bear in mind, with a chart like that, you would expect way lower. So this really validates what I'm seeing at the moment, the partnership potential, the world liberty financial factor here. And here's a comprehensive comparison table. So you can look at that, what you don't get. So you can read through that should you wish, my friends. These are percentages with an overall at 81%, which is pretty good. And a final scoring matrix, which gives it data confidence 88%, which is good, and the overall score 75 to 80%, which is well above average. So here's the score. The fundamental score is 79, and the opportunity score is moderate. So combined, we've got a 75%, which is well above average. Quick decision guide. So there's a lot of metrics I've put into this prompt, and I don't want to bore you with too many figures because the most important one that we get is the combined score is a 75, which is well above average. And finally, well, it's not finally, I want to go to crypto rank. We always want to know, this is so important, my friends, what did the early stage investors get in at? Because when the tokens are unlocked, we want to know if they're sitting on profits or not. And this is the relevant metric for you. But people that got in at the ICO round are down 91%, which means there's very unlikely that you're going to get any dumpage with this token because they paid $4.47 back in 2018. So 4.2 billion invested in this at $4.47. They are sitting on a massive, massive loss. This is so significant, my friends. When I assess tokens, you want to know, I mean, one of the biggest risks is VC dumpage. Now, the odds of VCs dumping when they're unlocked at this kind of loss is very, very low. And we saw a further funding round here with DWF Labs, a further 60 million raised in 2023. So I've asked Grok, because I couldn't get the figure on here. I asked them, to the best of your estimate, what did this funding round get in at? And Grok believes it's round about the $1.26 mark. Now, I just want to bring your attention back to here, 38 cents a coin. So this is a serious metric that I want to bring to you. So there's other stuff I've put in here, and you can read through that if you want, but I think we've covered the main stuff. Asked Grok to give me the investment case, the sentiment on X, which is predominantly bullish, the tokenomics. Well, we've already discussed that. The VCs are sitting on massive, massive losses, which means that the tokenomics are almost irrelevant with this project based on the losses that they're sitting on at the moment. And these are some of the metrics that we've done. So I asked them to rate it against key metrics against the top players. And it stands up okay on that table as well. But I don't want to bore you with too much percentage stats because this is the important part. So based on aggregated analysts' forecasts, we can pretty much look at the fact that there's been 70% plus total value locked. We estimate an 85% upside potential for A by December. So there you go, my friends. It shows potentially good upside. But the point being with this one is it's in the World Liberty financial portfolio. There is no way that the Trump family would take on a blockchain if it didn't have prospects and they weren't intending to use it. And as you see from the chart in the background, the chart looks like it's been unloved and nobody's looking at it. And no one's talking about it. I even did a search on YouTube to find out, are anyone talking about it? They're not. They're not. Now, could this be some sort of red flag or I don't understand. I really don't understand how this is part of the World Liberty financial portfolio and the price has done what it's done. But for me, this represents something that seems to be a gem hidden in plain sight. It's part of the Trump family's portfolio and it is established blockchain. And not only that, but the VCs are sitting on massive losses on this, which completely takes away any danger of dumpage. They need their portfolio to go up 90% on this coin before they're even breaking even, my friends, which tells me that this is very undervalued at its current price and that this could be a good entry point. But like anything I talk about, this is not financial advice. Have I missed something? What do you know that I don't? Please leave it in the comments. Let's have a discussion. But I believe that this is a very undervalued blockchain. And I believe that the downside risk versus the upside potential is disproportionately weighted in the favor of anyone that gets in at this price. But that's just my opinion. And what would I know? I'm just a lunatic on the Lunar Cafe, my friends. So if you've enjoyed this content and you want more of the same, then please do like and subscribe to the channel and give me a little bit of love. And not only that, if you want more of the same, you'll find another video just there. But either way, my friends, stay lunatic, have fun, and make money with crypto.